Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to Kaiju Connections, my segment on the channel dedicated to all things kaiju and big monster from both film and television. And tonight, it's another classic kaiju film discussion. And as you can see, I have two amazing guests to talk about this particular film. It is my good friend, Mr. Jedi Granville of Jedi Granville Productions, and super kaiju fan and friend, Kaiju Enigma Ultra Jake Hall. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. But tonight, this film, I said to you before we came on camera that this is my second time viewing this particular kaiju film. So, the film in question is quite unique, and it is another 1950s classic. It is, of course, The Giant Claw. Flying beast out of prehistoric skies, or so it says. But there is a bit of a twist in this film about this particular creature. But we're going to start this off like we always do, and I'm going to start with Mr. Jedi Granville. And then I'm going to ask you, when was your first time viewing The Giant Claw? But also, in the chat, we have Mr. Big Bad Wolf.
There he is.
We
Hello
also,
there.
we also have Red Spirit, who has put another wacky classic.
Red. Yeah.
So you're not wrong there. But as always, Mr. Jedi Granville, take it away.
Okay. Believe it or not, my first viewing of this, I mean, I heard about the Giant Claw long before watching it, but when I did watch it, the only reason I did watch it because when we did the stream for Tarantula, what was my first time watching it,
Mm-hmm.
the actress that plays in there, Miss Maura Corday, I didn't realize she was in various other films that were sci-fi films of the 50s. So I did a little checking in, and then Giant Claw was one of them. So I decided to say, yeah, there you go, the screenshot, the publicity shot, whatever. No, and I said to myself, you know what? I want to see some of these other ones that she's been in. This she was in Tarantula, and she's been in the Black Scorpion. So I said to myself, I'm gonna check these out. So I decided to watch it few weeks later, and I was kind of like, wow, this is kind of funny. The lingo in here that's being spoken, it sounds so semi-science, although it almost sounds similar to some other film that came out at the same time as this film, but I won't give that name away right away. We'll get into the meat and potatoes of that. And it stars the same actor in that other film that I'm not going to mention right now, but it's a different take. It's a short and sweet type of film, and that's exactly what these kind of films were. They weren't very long. They were just basically, what is the creature they're dealing with and how they deal with it and how they get rid of it, and that's the end of it. But that's pretty much how I've come to watch it.
Yeah. Jake Hall.
Well, the first time I heard of the Giant Claw was when, back when VHS was still around. There was a couple of VHS tapes where they showed like movie trailers and stuff for the certain films, all kaiju and creature related. Well, on two of these that I own, they showed the Giant Claw, and it wasn't until I actually was it on YouTube, or it may have been YouTube when I first watched it, but it wasn't until I actually bought this 4 movie pack that has the Giant Claw in it, and that's when I actually watched it for the first time on physical media, and it is definitely a unique kaiju film,
Yeah,
to say the least.
yes. As for me, my first time watching The Giant Claw was probably only 2 or 3 years ago, and it was the fact that it was available free on YouTube. And I had heard about it, I had seen like in magazines the creature and thinking this creature looks wacky. He looks absolutely insane.
Truth be
Oh.
told, I'm just going to give a characterization. He literally, to me, he looks like the Roadrunner on Speed. He looks like he's on crack. That's how he looks like the Roadrunner on crack.
Yes.
I was thinking of ostrich gone cuckoo because it looked more like an ostrich to me.
Yeah.
For those that haven't seen the creature, this is the creature we're talking about. So, one thing I'm going to say, this was back in the 1950s. So, this film, it used practical effects and it used puppeteering. It used like miniatures, it used backdrops and all of that. So, despite this creature looking kind of, like something like a crazy fucked up on crack Sesame Street puppet.
Yeah.
Somebody went great lengths to make this thing out of nothing. And so I'm going to give respect to the creators because despite how it looks, it wouldn't have been easy to create a Manuette, a puppet, and to have it featured in a feature film. So you've got to at least show a little bit of respect to the creators of this the creature. Even though, like I say, it does look like a fucked up, it's smoked 20 lines of cocaine and then jumped onto the set of Sesame Street. Just, educate and entertain a bunch of kids.
Look, and that's just from afar. When you get really up close and personal with it, facial, it's like, damn, dude, you don't look no better from up close. You look worse.
DJ and Lucas is in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. But I still will show the creators, props. Now, let's get it this film. Let's get cracking, as I like to say. The Giant Claw is a 1957 American monster film from Columbia Pictures, produced by Sam Katzman, directed by Fred F. Shears, that stars Jeff Morrow and Maura Corday, and features Morris Ankrum, Dabbs Greer, and Robert Shane. Both Shears and Katzman were well known as low-budget B-film genre filmmakers. This film was released as a double feature with The Night the World Exploded. So, who would like to take this one away and start the plot?
I'll give it a whirl here, or you want to take it, Jake? I mean,
Sure, why not? So they start. Of course he is. Of course he is. All right, so we start off at a naval base in, I forget the place where it's snowy and all.
Alaska. Is it Alaska?
I'm not sure if it's Alaska or North.
Well, we'll just go with Alaska then. And they're doing tests. Jim.
It says it's in the Antarctic.
Oh, okay.
Same place that the thing is at. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Jim, who is a scientist, engineer type person, he's doing tests, and the lady is a mathematician, and they're doing research, doing calculations. Well, during a final rundown, Jim sees a blur to his right, and he spots an unidentified object. Well, it doesn't show up on radar, on any of his radars, and it's not bringing up. And he's trying to tell these people that he's seen an unidentified object. Well, he lands and he goes to uh excuse me. I think he's a major, and the major's questioning him on why he's giving false accusation about this unidentified object. And Jim's trying to explain it the best he can, but to no avail. And then he gets a phone call of a similar situation that Jim has, but people are missing and no word. The last known transmission was from the pilot saying an unidentified object. So, fast forward as they are going back to Washington. Jim is talking to the pilot that's piloting the plane as he and the girl are taking notes and all of that. And then the pilot sees the unidentified object. And then they feel something crash into their plane. And then the plane ends up crashing in Italy. No, not Italy.
Or Mexico, somewhere like that. I'm not for sure.
Yeah.
The guys, but yeah.
Yeah, and they come across forget the gentleman's name. Pablo. Anyway, they find him. Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos finds Jim and the girl, and he's like, over here, over here. Well, they go back to his house along with the pilot who has died.
Mm-hmm.
So, pilots died, officers come, hospital or ambulance comes, they take the body, and as they're talking, having drinks, having a good time, the animals on his farm start going nuts and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes out, and it's real windy and stormy too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going out to check on it. And then, yeah, as big as a battleship. And as Carlos has gone out, all of a sudden they hear him scream, and then they see him lay on the floor, or ground, excuse me. They bring him back in, and he starts saying, what was that saying? La cacciatore?
No, La Gauge or something. La Gauge.
Yeah. He keeps saying that phrase, which is an actual urban legend where he's from. And Jim and the girl are like, he just keeps saying it because the officer comes back and all that. Well, after that, they go back to Washington. And as they're on the plane to go to Washington, Jim takes the girl's map and starts creating a pattern of all the incidents that has happened. And he's like, it's an exact coordination. And the girl's just like, oh, really? How can I believe that? And obviously Jim gets his feelings hurt. So he's like, here's your map. And then she goes, wow, you are a 3-year-old. And as they're in this argument, gentleman who's trying to sleep in the back's like, if you wouldn't mind allowing other people to sleep, please, and thank you.
Can I say, though, one thing I will say about them two particular actors in this film, Maura Cordy and I think he was called Morrow. Is it Morrow? Jeff Morrow. So Jeff Morrow and Maura Corday. Those particular scenes between them, where there's just the two of them, and they were flying back to New York when the plane was, seen hit by this UFO, and then the in this town and the investigating everything that went down in the legend of Black Car Gain. I thought they had amazing chemistry as actors, and I thought their whole performance together when they were sitting in the seat of the plane and they were doing the monologue and seeing the line and how it was filmed, and it felt very, very
Yeah.
like genuine and natural, and the flirtatiousness came across for me very real. So one thing I will give this film credit is that the acting is really good, I think, especially from the two leads.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting because Jeff Morrow, he was only 50 at this time, where she was in her late 20s. It's like, wow, he's really rocking the cradle here. But I mean, hey, no, as long as love is blind, it has no number. That's the thing about that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
yeah,
I mean, he's actually true. I mean, they are some big meaty claws. Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
So obviously, when they're talking about like investigating like what's going on, they then off the radars they suddenly pick up this UFO. So they end up sending out more planes to investigate, and they also have the weather balloons. I don't know if this is no, this is before the weather balloons.
This is
Yeah.
before the balloons.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
it's
before
the
the
meat.
weather, yeah. So before the weather balloons, there's this UFO is picked up in the same location,
Mhm.
and basically he came up with McAfee, who's like who's an aero engineer. He's like he deals with aircrafts, and that's his job. He's like an aircraft engineer.
Right.
He like looks at where people have went missing, or looks where something's happened and someone's obviously been and he finds a pattern like in this swirling. It looks like it's like a hunting pattern. So
Mhm.
you can see it's forming like a ring, like a circle around a particular mass location. Uh, so he figures that it must be something that's building like a territory and protecting or hunting in this pattern. But then obviously her character, who's called I think Sally Caldwell, basically says to him, it's nonsense. How can something that big be flying around and doing these things? And then suddenly the UFO gets picked up again.
Mhm.
And they send these planes out to attack whatever it is or to discover. And one by one, the planes are suddenly attacked. And this is where you do see like the giant claw in all of its glory kind of first make it full on appearance and
But
attack the planes. And it is quite a funny scene because you're trying to take it serious, but at the same time it's like the design's so wacky. You like
because I have to mention this because before the fighter jet sequence, there's a surveillance plane that goes looking for it, and it attacks the plane. But and this is the funny thing. This is the shot that always gets played over and over again in certain um, reviews of this film. It's the guy. These are like I say, these are scientists and everything, and the plane gets destroyed, but they parachute out, and one by one, one by one. Yes, I mean, look, it's it's very effective, but at the same time, it's so funny because when you hear that crunch, it's like, yeah, that's I mean, look, I'm sorry. Like you could like, oh my god, my it's like the eyes have you. It's like, dude, I mean, every time he goes up on the like no, I mean, it's like crunch. It's like I mean, dude, it's so funny because it's like now you try to take it serious, but it's like I can't really do it because it's like the way it comes right up on the so-called survivors who are about to be mincemeat, and when you hear that crunch, it's like, wow, that was pretty easy, you know. So it's like I for me, I think that's the whole fun of this film because it's like you're supposed to take it serious, but then at the same time, it's like just have fun with it because it's like, yeah, this shows that this is really, really, yeah, like yeah, it's really just how that is, you know what I mean? And you realize that the gravity of certain things is escalated because this thing is big. Well, it's big as a battleship, but it's bigger than that. I mean, battleships are pretty large, but if you compare the size of this thing to a battleship, this thing is way bigger than that. So
Yes. So basically, it's after the obviously the incident happens where these other jets are killed that they now realise that there is something large and dangerous out there, and it's a living animal. This is where they start like trying to come up with a plan, or at least figure out what it looks like or how big it is. And this is where they came up with the idea to look at these like balloons that are like that are hovering around the area that take imagery of like things in the air or around the surface of the land below. And so they decide to get one of these balloons, and that's when they finally see the first image, like for themselves, of this giant bird creature. And you know, she gets very like she's in shock at the size of the animal and what it is. And then this is where they've got to basically, there it is again. I'll just show the giant claw again. But then this is where they decide that they need to try and figure out what it's doing there, how they can kill it or stop it. And they decide that they're going to just attack it and hit it with anything that they can. They hit it with bombs, they hit it with missiles, a rocket launcher, and nothing touches the sides of this thing. And this is where the science comes into things, because then they realize that this thing is, for its size, it's not known to any like historical facts or you know, discoveries from the past of like a prehistoric creature that was born on Earth. So that's when they discover, and that's when they start to assess the situation of how the hell this thing is, you know, not being killed by bombs, rockets, missiles. And then they discover that it has some sort of energy barrier around it, which they said no creature on Earth could create. So that's when they decide and they come on the decision that this thing must be from outer space. And this is them all discussing the discovery of this fact that they now believe that the giant claw is an extraterrestrial bird that came to Earth from a nearby galaxy, but then they need to now discover what is it doing here.
Yep.
Can I just say that was I mean, it's great. I mean, everything else is, you know, out of weirdness, you know, but that was the thing that took me aback because I'm like, this bird is from another galaxy, is from another world. It's like, huh, that's actually a good stretch because, you know, usually something like this, especially things that coming out of the 50s that were low budget and everything, they were more primarily, you know, Earth-based, you know, they're coming from Earth or through some pseudoscience or whatever. But here we see that something like this is from another galaxy. Who knows? Could have been from another, might have come through a black hole or whatever. And this is where it's at right now. And
Yeah.
just some context, I looked up the size of this thing, and it's like I said before, it's way bigger than you think. It's like 182 meters in height.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
Now, if you're like I say, if you know your math, what's up, Tony? What's
Hey,
up?
Tony.
Thanks
If
for
you know,
popping in, my friend.
yes, good to see you. Good. To, hope you're doing okay, brother. Hope you're doing all right. But yeah,
It's a movie. That is for sure. It's definitely a movie, Tony.
but for anyone who's not European, and we still use it in America, but if you put that into feet, this thing is like 600 feet tall.
Yes.
So it's a big
Yeah.
mother.
So it's even bigger than Godzilla, really, in some
It
cases.
is.
Yep. And also, what's interesting too is that anything it touches too, it explodes because of the energy it creates from that shield. I think it's a photon shield, as they said in the
Well,
film.
as the film progresses, and like I say, you've got them discussing what it is or where it comes from. They now have assessed it, and they now have come to the realization, like we say, it's from another galaxy. But then not only do they now know it's from another galaxy because of the energy shield around it, they then come across the fact that they believe it's antimatter. And it's come from a galaxy where it survived and nurtured itself on antimatter. So there's some real strong science in this movie, despite the wackiness of the creature. If you think about the plot itself is quite an intelligent plot, and the acting's great in it. I think the characters are fun in this. It's just the design of the creature that a lot of people might find off-putting, but I personally enjoy it for what it is. Because this was the 1950s, and this is what the 1950s was about, these crazy over-the-top, wacky sci-fi movies. This was the era where this was what it was all about.
And here's a question I have to ask, just opinion. Do you think they got more? Oh, okay. Oh, let's see. Like, hey, like I say, it was something. I mean, yeah, that wouldn't make sense. That would make sense. But
Nice.
but no. Here's a quick question. Do you think that the films of these times that were low budget like that, do you think they got more wackier as the
Oh yeah,
rest? Because it's kind of funny, like the Beast from 20,000 Phantoms. We had Godzilla, we had even Tarantula. We had the Beast from the creature from the Black Lagoon. They seem more, even though they were more, out of the way. They seemed more like grounded in terms of their appearance and whatever, and make it more seem like serious. But it's the decade was coming to an end. It seemed like they got more ambitious and over the top.
yeah. Well, if you look at, say, the Godzilla, the Showa era, it started off as very serious, very dark with 1954, and then as it progressed, each film kind of did get wackier because it introduced you to different monsters, different over-the-top storytelling. We had not just natural monsters, we had alien monsters, robotic double-gangers, giant spiders. It got crazier and crazier as the Showa era went on. But that is because back then, I think that not only did they try to make serious films for adults and serious science fiction film for adults, they also tried to focus on a family friendly audience. So some of the more over the top, wacky sci-fi films, yes, they might have tried to make them serious, but they kept them to a certain level where you could maybe take a child to the theatre with you or go as a family. So I could definitely see the Giant Claw being a film. If I was a kid in the 50s, my parents could take me to go see it.
And just a quick analysis on that too is that since this was a time where teenagers were so rambunctious at the time, there's a little bit of a moment in this film where teenagers are being teenagers, and of course they paid for it, but hey, you have to be a teenager. You have to be young, dumb, and everything else to
Hmm.
show that you don't have that sense, but Jesus, Joker, jackass kind of sense, So yeah,
Yes. So basically, what happens now is now that they've kind of discovered what the creature is, um, what they're dealing with in terms of it's not from Earth, it's an alien creature.
Mhm.
They now know this circular pattern that it seems to be forming, and then it starts getting more adventurous and actually goes into the main city and reveals itself to the world, and
Yeah.
it starts attacking people in the city. Um, they're now on the trying to investigate ways of trying to stop the creature. Now that they know it's a creature that came from an antimatter galaxy, in that because of its anti-matter shielding, no missile or weaponry is able to penetrate its shield. But then this is where McAfee, with working with the generals and the site, he discovers a way to bring the shielding down. But before they do all that, they then obviously they want to know the reason and why this creatures came to Earth. And this is when Caldwell kind of makes a suggestion that the reason it's here and the reason it's got this homing pattern is because it's built a nest.
Yes.
And because it's built a nest, clearly it's about to, hatch a baby bird,
Mhm.
another little fucker.
Yeah.
Another
So
ugly ostrich.
yeah.
Yes.
So if you, as Mr. Professor would say, that's a big bitch, meaning that it is a female, most likely,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's what you call what Godzilla in '98 was. It was a
Creature that could reproduce asexually.
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. So this is where now that they've discovered these things, asexual. That is what Mr. Big Bad Wolf is. He's now letting it all know. He's letting the world know. Thank you for sharing this information.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Right. I'll let Jake carry on with this plot. He doesn't choke to death.
Alright, so after they discovered the egg and the nest, they shoot it. Well, Carlos runs away because of the superstition. The girl and him shoot the egg, destroy it, and Big Bird just swoops down, causing limbs to fall on him. And then, as the guy's like going, like he's out of breath running, you hear the bird's little screech,
Mhm.
and he's like, ah, and he's dead. So, and they arrived by helicopter, so they can't take the helicopter. So they find, yep, that little shot right there after they shoot the egg. And so they take this Herbie vehicle
Yeah.
and they're driving steady, no lights on, or if they did have lights on, it was very dim, so that way the claw wouldn't see them. And then you have the dumbass teenagers like, come on, man, get by him, man, come on, man. And Jim's like, get off the road, turn off your lights. Don't worry, man. We got salt, man. We'll just salt it to death. We'll just assault it to death. Oh my god. And as they're like, yeah, man, let's get past this guy, man. Driving, and then here it comes. Two of them managed to survive, a young blonde and gentleman, even though they're bloody on the face, but the other two did not survive because as the claw grabs it and flies off with it, it
Mhm.
catches fire and then poof, explodes. And so they go back and they're trying to figure out what they can do to deal with this antimatter. And then Jim thinks he has found a way to do it. So he calls the general in. And he's like, Jim, I don't have time for this nonsense right now. Well, I hope it's not crazy, General, and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. So he thinks he can create a new weapon that can neutralize the antimatter shield, which eventually they do. And as Jim's still working on it, it explodes and he gets knocked out. And everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? How long have I been down?
So the thing that they come up with is called mesic atoms, also known as exotic atom. So an exotic atom is an otherwise normal atom in which one or more subatomic particles have been replaced by other particles. For example, electrons may be replaced by other negatively charged particles such as muons or pions. Because these substitute particles are usually unstable, exotic atoms typically have very short lifetimes, and no exotic atom thus far observed can persist under normal conditions. So there is some real science in this film. So obviously they're going to use these exotic particles to affect the antimatter and, shut it down. So that means the energy barrier protecting the giant claw will now be lowered, which would enable the military to be able to finally defeat it.
Like we're gonna have some good old fried chicken soon.
Or in this case, fried ugly ostrich.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll let Jedi Granville finish this story off, because then it leads us to the final climax.
It's like I say, this is where the money shots pay off, and they and it's kind of funny because I think they do homages in the final act. They managed to find well, yeah, pretty much. I don't know what that is, but yeah. But no, they he tells the general, can you get this thing working in a certain amount? They said, I can get it done in about an hour. So I was like, that's kind of cutting it close. But they take all the equipment, put it on this plane, and I forget what kind of plane it was. I know it was a bomber, but I was thinking, was it a B something bomber? But they put it on there, and while he's on board, the giant claw is pretty much in New York, the Big Apple. And we see it do a King Kong, but pretty much ravage Empire State Building, knocking the top off, and debris. And if you're a geekhead like myself, you'll notice that there are certain shots in the moment when it's in New York, from Earth versus the flying saucers, or even some other random, 50s B-50 movies that came out at this time. But like, in fact, there's a shot in there, but they just black and whited it. A shot from War of the Worlds that came out in '53. It's actually in black and white, but Jesus, it happens so quickly you won't notice it. But a keen eye will notice these things. But anyway, he or she, or whatever you want to call it, or Biden. I don't even want to say that. I'll just say it's a bird and it's destroying shit. They get the thing working, they get it going, and they shoot the thing, with this particles, and somehow it able to break the shield, able to get the shield down. Basically, it's almost kind of a homage, not so much an homage, but it's something that's hinting at something in future science fiction films like Star Wars or shows like Star Trek and whatever, and we have to get through the shielding, and that's what they do here. But
yeah,
which makes sense because it's from another world.
Yeah.
You
Before you carry on, though, Jedi, let's welcome Al Zilla 09 to
know.
the
All
Hi,
right,
panel.
everyone. How are you all doing?
we are fine, sir. How you cooking?
Welcome.
I'm doing good. Just got back from work, and yeah, I'm ready to do this.
Okay.
Yes. Well, we're nearly at the final of the movie because I've been talking for quite a bit about the plot. But what we'll do is before we talk about the final, what I'll do is I'll ask you, um, can you remember your very first time seeing the movie The Giant Claw?
Why, certainly. When I was a little kid, I had this DVD called Fantastic Dinosaurs of the Movies. And
Mhm.
it was a collection of movie trailers of dinosaur movies and monster movies from ranging from the 1930s, 1950s, and
Mhm.
60s, and one of them had the giant claw in it. And
Nice.
I thought, after seeing the trailer, I checked out the movie, and
Yeah. So did you? So
I I
obviously,
actually saw James, in guilty pleasure.
yeah, there is something.
Entertaining.
Even though, yeah, it is. It does have a lot of like entertaining qualities, and we were just seeing like, despite the wackiness of the look of the bird, the giant claw. If you look at the storyline itself and the acting by the two leads, I
Mhm.
do think it's a decent enough film.
It
Oh,
is.
yes.
Yes.
Mhm. So, Walter, my friend, carry on because you were going to about to take it into the final of the movie.
Like I say, we're about to. Like I say, well, we're already done the meat and potatoes thing, but we're really getting into the very end. And this is like I say, this is how these films were stylized and how they work out. So
Yes.
Right.
they crack the barrier. They basically skim the Death Star to get to killing this thing. Um, um, was it Mitch? Was it Mitch? Yeah, Mitch tells the general, say, you can fire when ready at this damn thing. Put that bird in, put it on his ass and everything, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So they fire at it, hitting it where it hurts the most, right up the ass. And, it's basically, it's done for. So it falls. That's kind of funny. It gets hit numerous times, falls into the ocean. I guess because since it's near New York, it falls into the Atlantic, falls
Yes.
down, and it almost seems like it explodes when it hits the water, but it actually doesn't. It's just hits the ground and it hits the water and everything. And how these films work, quick and easy. They have the moment where the general tells Mitch and the girl, like, we done it, we killed it and everything, and they embrace one another and of course kiss because they're lovers, and
Exactly.
of course the great shot of the film, the very end where it says the end, emphasizing the claw, the giant claw.
Yes.
It's like, yes, the end, because you did, baby.
Like,
And
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't look, it doesn't give no sympathy for this damn thing, because it's like, yeah, you were trying to kill us, but we're about to kill your ass too.
Exactly. Yeah.
yes.
And when it
So
happens, it's done.
he has an interesting question for you all. The film's title, The Giant Claw. Do you think that's enough of a title for this movie, or would you rather them give the creature an actual name and named it like the film of the creature? You know what I call it? Like, I don't know, give it a name like Mega Bird or something. Something weird like that. Just as an example, and it was called Mega Bird Terror from Space or something. Or
That
do you
would,
like
Ooh.
the fact it's just something ominous about it just being known as the giant claw?
Alzil, let me let you take this one first. I'll give my 2 points, 2 cents in a second.
Yes, because I know that one of the characters, I forgot, a village guy called it La Gagne, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, which was like based off a real urban legend in that village at the time.
Yeah.
Well,
But
for
what
me,
about you, Walter?
I was gonna say, if you with the title you just gave, even sounds more 50s esque kind of sounding in a way. I mean, not to say that the Giant Claw doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you could call it that. I'm kind of like what Al said, could have called it that, but I don't know. I guess plain and simple is what you're going with, and you could go with that. Although you've had other movies like the Giant Gila Monster, it's pretty much
Oh yeah.
just say it and be gone with it, and it's done, But
Exactly.
Take care, my friend.
okay, take it easy, paper. But no, I mean, like I say, I mean, it could have gone with that. I mean, but I think the whole goal with the films like this was like, let's give it as great of a 50 sounding B movie, and remember, most of these films were filmed in black and white. That's what made
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
what gave it
Yeah.
the fun of it.
Yeah. Before we carry on, let's welcome another guest who's just turned up, Mr. Anthony Jordan.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony, happy birthday.
Yes,
you.
happy birthday, yes.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club.
So basically, Anthony, we've finished talking about the actual movie, like we've talked about the plot. Now we're just having a discussion on what thought of the movie, and I just asked a question there, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I said, do you like the name of the film The Giant Claw, or would you rather have given it given the creature a full-on name and naming the film after the name that the creature had?
Honestly,
We've got Godzilla, we've got Mothra, etc.
Honestly, the name has become so iconic in its own right that I just can't imagine this film being called anything else.
Very true. So, since you've joined us, Anthony, I did ask Al as well when he first joined, so I'm going to ask you, can you remember your first time seeing The Giant Claw?
I was probably 7 years old. My mom was flipping through the TV guide and she changed a channel and she's like, "You got to, Toby, sit down and watch this one." She loved it as a kid and I enjoyed it, and I've been a fan of the movie ever since. Despite its goofiness, the campiness, just how out there it can get, there's this charm to the movie that I just love.
Yes. Like I did say earlier that I like the plot. I think the plot's a strong plot. I like how it mixes in real science. I like how right at the beginning you don't fully see the creature. You basically just see like a blur in the middle of the air. And then when the creature is finally revealed, obviously is a wacky looking. I said it looks like a Sesame Street puppet that had 9 lines of crack. And
Yeah.
wander onto the set of fucking Sesame Street high as a fucking kite,
Oh yeah.
trying to entertain kids in the crowd.
A precursor to Big Bird, only.
Oh yes.
What I also have stated is this is me. I thought that the 2 leads were fantastic. Morrow and Corday, the leads. I thought they had amazing chemistry, and I was saying about the monologue and the scene where they were just sitting on the plane having a discussion. It looked and felt so natural and real, and then there was like real chemistry, and when they were flirting, it felt like they really were flirting. So despite the wackiness of the design of the puppet that they used for the giant claw, the story and the acting I thought was brilliant.
The best of those 50s B movies, they really just played the source material straight.
Yes, they definitely did. So, Jake Hall, so we'll go around the group. So I'll start with Walter. What's your overall thought on The giant claw, and is it a film you would recommend to watch if you are unknown to, say, classic 1950s wacky science fiction movies, and someone said, well, I want to get into the genre of watching the classic wacky sci-fi films? Is this a one you would recommend?
I definitely would recommend this film. I mean, because it's I think there's Anthony said, it's a charm to it. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
you didn't make these films just to be taken seriously. I mean, you did them so it's like, okay, whoever watches this, you might get some pseudoscience out of something drama wise, but at the same time, you're having some fun with it. And just want to make a quick comparison. The actor Jeff Morrow, when he's speaking the science that he's speaking in this film, it's kind of interesting because as I was rewatching it, I realized that doesn't sound too far off the beaten path as what he was talking like in a film that came out a few months before this, which was Kronos. He was in that, and it basically did the same. And the funny thing is, the same kind of pseudoscience dealing with electromagnetic particles and all these other things. It's embedded in that film. So it's almost like, well, I was talking about that kind of pseudoscience in that film. Well, I just take that same kind of, jargon and just put it in this film. And it's like, it's not no big deal because these films were shot pretty fast for the time. So him doing this and then the previous film, Kronos, makes a good comparison of what it was done. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, because it's like I say, it's a fun. If it's something that you can kill for like less than 90 minutes, because this movie is like 75 minutes long. I mean, you ain't got too much to run on. I say recommend it to a friend, especially if a person who's just a basic kaiju fan and just wants to have some fun, and watch it. And yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Yes. What about you, G. Cole?
Oh yeah, I would recommend it too. I mean, for a 1950 film, and I grew up watching the 1950s films, and as goofy as that creature was, it was still very entertaining for its time and all that. And like you, Kevin, I respect props to the people who created this goofy big bird ostrich looking son of a gun.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Yes. Anthony Jordan.
Good. I definitely recommend it. I'd go as far as to say if you're starting to get into 50 science fiction, I would say this one is required viewing.
And Alzilla.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, it's not a movie to be taken seriously, but it's more of a, you'll get a kick out of it if you want to get into those, B-movie 1950s, giant monster movies. Hey, this is a good start. Even though Jeff Morrow was embarrassed by the film and went home and got drunk. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that happened. I heard Jeff Morrow was so embarrassed by it that audience laughed their asses at the film, especially when the bird came, and he went home and got drunk.
I have just read that it got universally panned by the critics.
Oh yes.
Wow. Okay.
But you know what? I mean, who cares what the critics think? It's like it's a fun time.
You know what else got universally panned by the critics? It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Man.
And look at that now. It's a classic.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yes, I'm going to ask a few more questions because this is fun having all you guys. Yeah. So, would you consider this actress part of the kaiju stable, and would you say she's a kaiju? Like how we've got Linda Miller. Would you definitely see this woman is like a kaiju legend for the film she starred in the 1950s?
I can say I personally can say that now because, like I say, before Tarantula, I didn't know this person existed. I mean, I've actually seen it before, but didn't know who she was famous for back in the 50s, and I didn't know she was in those type of films. And I mentioned before the Black Scorpion. She was in that, and that was a 50s low budget film. So
Oh yeah.
I could definitely say she would put her on that pedestal.
Oh yeah.
I would
I
say
agree.
so, especially considering for this film, her character was more proactive towards the solution than you typically see women in these films.
Oh
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah. And if she was still alive today, it would have been nice to see her make an appearance if she hadn't already at G Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the giant claw has got its place within the foundations of kaiju cinema, despite the negativities of how it looks. And it has got a cult following and it has loyal fans, and it's because of the loyal fans that kept it going that Titanic Creations have signed a deal and have got the license to create a giant claw figure.
Nice.
Okay, I'm buying
Nice.
that.
Nice.
So I'm quite enjoying Titanic Creations because what they seem to be doing, they're taking these rather unknown kaiju properties that people aren't doing much with, and where there's hardly any merchandise, and fans would like a figure or some sort of merchandise based on these other classic kaiju, and they're really doing a nice job. So I personally own the Gorgo figure.
Me too.
I think it's a really decent articulated figure, and it comes with some nice accessories. There's a Yongari figure, there's a Pulpazari figure. The next figure being released is a Reptilicus figure.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'd seen that.
Yeah, and the next figure that gets released from then, the Reptilicus one's going to have 2 heads. It's going to have
Nice.
2 wings. And then after that, they've also got the Conga license.
Conga. Okay.
So we're going to be getting a Conga figure from Titanic Creations, and then they're going to get the giant claw figure out of the way. But this is the next figure that because I was 50-50 if I was going to get the Yongari figure. I kind of let it pass, but now that I've seen reviews and how it looks online, I wish I grabbed it. So you never know, I might end up getting the cracked bird. I mean the giant claw.
Meth vulture.
There's definitely one figure that is coming down the pipeline from Titanic Creations that I will definitely be getting after those next 3 figures, which is Reptilicus, the giant claw, Conga. They're working on and have officially announced they now have the license to bring us a Gappa figure.
Yes, I heard.
Oh wow! Okay.
I love Gappa.
Yes, so Gappa is going to be definitely a figure I would like to purchase. But here's the question: with them having the license, will they do the 2 adult figures and a baby, or will it just be just a solo adult figure? I don't know, but Titanic Creations, like I say, have been doing a fantastic job with their figures. And so we're at the point where I'm going to ask each and every one of you guys your final thoughts on the film. With you, Anthony, and you, Zilla, I'll let you, not only give your final thoughts, but just your overall thoughts on the film. So we'll start with Jedi. Your final thoughts on the giant claw.
Okay. Like I say, it's
and your rating. And you're
right. Okay. Overall, like I say, it's a fun time, as I said before, and I think that's only because it's but not by accident, but by design. And this is the reason why this film is why you have a very fucked up Muppet, portraying this particular, creature, because it's been doing not lines, but actually railroad lines of cocaine and getting high on speed and everything else, because that's the only way it's going to look jacked up. But overall, yes, this film has a great charm to it, and I would definitely recommend it because it's like I say, it's not so much to take it seriously, but as you mentioned before, the chemistry between the actors and everything actually feels natural, which makes it more robust in a sense. So for this film, I would give it a 7 at least.
That's a good rating.
Yeah.
Jake Hall.
It was definitely a unique film. Definitely enjoyed the storyline. Uh, Big Bird on cocaine was very unique. All that, the love story, the connection, all that, the science behind it. Very good film, very well made, not to be taken seriously, even though it, in a way, it kind of had some serious moments in it, but you can tell it was campy. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Nice. Oh, right. Right. Anthony, your thoughts on the film and then your final thoughts.
Just a fun 50s B movie. Like, if you know what to expect going into 50s B movies, this is gonna deliver. And it's just, again, it's just fun. It's not the best film ever made, not even the best film in the genre, but I enjoy it. It's just one I've always enjoyed. It's got, like we said, great characters, great chemistry between the actors, and almost the natural feeling of the chemistry is almost ahead of its time for the decade. And we get the meth head vulture, which is just, it's just so out there that you can't help but love it. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. And
Yes.
that egg they destroyed, he didn't flip out because that was the baby. That egg was his stash.
That actually makes 110%.
Yeah.
Yes. So Aldila, you the same question to you. Your overall thoughts and your thoughts on the film and your rating.
I would say The Giant Claw is a guilty pleasure 1950s sci-fi monster movie. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not the best movie ever made, but it's a fun time, you know. I really think the characters are enjoyable. And not only that, I also like the flying battleship quote that they use so many times in that movie. I don't know why they call that bird a battleship, like flying
Maybe they should
battleship.
have named the film The Flying Battleship.
Yeah, the flying battleship. Yeah. But overall, I think The Giant Claw is a so bad, but it's good type of movie. Just grab a drink, grab your friends, and you'll have a good time. Hell, you'll even laugh your ass off. But I would say I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, 7.5.
Well, I tell you what, if they end up showing this at the Pickwick Theatre when we're in Chicago, I know we're going to grab some popcorn and have one hell of a laugh.
Oh yeah,
when we're at G-Fest. But my thoughts on this film, it's my second time viewing it. I've kind of already said everything I need to say. I like the story. I thought the main cast had a brilliant chemistry, the two leads. Despite the look of the puppet, I think it's a strong story. If they made like a remake of this film, I would love to see them do a very dark, serious version. And it would be fascinating to see how fucked up this bird would look in, using modern effects. And I'm pretty much in the middle with everybody else. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
So,
all right, cool.
Strong rating. But this has been Kaiju Connections. And, I've been doing this, this segment on my channel for over 2 years now. And I've been focused on giving the lesser known kaiju films much loved, and we've pretty much nearly got to the bottom of everyone. We've done The Giant Claw, we've done virtually them all, but I'm just going to give the audience a preview of the next few things that are coming up on the Entertainment Headquarters and Kaiju Connections. So tomorrow night I'm going to be joined by Mr. J. Cole. I'm going to be joined by Big Bad Wolf. And I'm going to be joined because he's just messaged us and said he's managed to finish season 2 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So tomorrow night, the three of you guys and me, we're going to be reviewing Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2.
Nice.
And that final blew my mind.
Nice.
I think if you get to the end of that season, Jedi, because I know you're still in the middle of it, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
I hope I will be, but I figure the way y'all expressing it, it's like, okay, I can't wait to find out what's going on.
But speaking of classic kaiju movie reviews, the next 3 that are coming down the pipeline are The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Mm-hmm.
All
We'll
right.
definitely be covering that one next month, in the month of June. Because we do Kaiju Connection classic movie discussions once a month. After that one, we have, I think, Walt had mentioned this already in this review, and he's done his own review of this, but now he's going to do it all over again with me and the guys. We're going to be doing Kronos 1957.
Nice.
And one more, and this will be the July one, and it'll probably happen after we're back from G Fest.
Okay.
We're going to be talking
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dogura.
1957.
Nice.
But guys, once we've done that, I think I've pretty much covered all of the 1950s and the 1960s movies. I think there's 1 or 2 I haven't, but we can always get back to them at a later date. But then we're heading into September. And when we get to September, this is when things are going to get real fun. Because this is when we're going to start talking about
Nice.
the Showa era. That's right, we're going to do it just like we have with all of the classic kaiju discussions. We're going to be talking about each film every month for how long ever it takes, with 2 years, 3 years, till the day I fucking die, who knows? Showa era of the Godzilla film. So in September, we're talking about Godzilla 1954, the one that started it all.
Cool.
Yes. But that's what's coming up on Kaiju Connections over the next few months. But my good friend, Mr. Walter Ross, what is coming to your channel in the next few weeks?
Okay, well, come next Sunday, because I was going to have something tomorrow, but that's been put off because of certain things. But that's okay. Like I say, that means it's waiting on the back burner for some better time, which I like, so it gets me more prepared. But next Sunday, I will be with you, hopefully be joining me and anyone else, where we're going to be discussing a film that I think is flown under the radar very low, but for some miracle, somehow the Tokusatsu Kaiju gods brought it to life, back to the surface, literally. And I'm going to be discussing The Whale God.
Yes.
A film that I think that doesn't get enough praise, but deserves a look for what it is.
So, to my understanding, what happened with The Whale God, it's a Daiei film, and apparently Daiei had lost all copies of the movie because of an accident or a fire or something, so it was lost. And then it was only about 2 or 3 years ago, or might have been just before the pandemic, they were in an old warehouse or something, and they came across some old film reels or film projections, and it happened to be The Whale God. So somebody took the reel or the projection. They were able to remaster it and re-release The Whale God, and it's now currently available to watch on Tubi for free for anybody that hasn't had the chance to see the Whale God, and to my recollection, it's more like the Japanese version of Moby Dick.
Right. Yes, I heard.
But I mean, it's a powerful statement, and I feel like it deserves a look. And like I say, I've never looked at it until like I say now, and I'm just like, and the funny thing is, I actually saw a trailer of it, but I'm not saying, I don't know, but I think by your recommendation, it's like, why don't you try it? It's like, and I say, you know what? I think I ought to. I'll try to do that. So yeah, that's coming up next Sunday, and through the rest of this month. I'm going to be doing a retrospective of two films that are pretty much, like I say, they're classics in their own, but it depends on the viewer. I'm going to be doing a 54 anniversary of Outland, which is basically a sci-fi version of High Noon, which stars Sean Connery.
Nice.
And later that month, I'm going to be hopefully joining up with Anubis and Neko, and we're going to be discussing the 35th anniversary of Thelma and Louise, which is like I say, one of those films that it's a good film, but I think doesn't get enough, weight to be talked about. So I'm going to do a record.
Wasn't that Brad Pitt's first ever feature film?
Yes, and you know what? Now you bring that up. This is what's so weird. That was his first outing in terms of being cast as a star. I mean, he was in certain films prior, but this would really launched him. And I noticed that now that I think about it, he's always had those washboard abs for some reason. Even now, it's like even in his 60s, he still has it. So I don't know what's up with that. I mean, I think he's a mutant, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But next month, and this is something I really want to do because I'm eccentric like that. I want to do a top 10 favorite monster sound effects. Basically, their roars. That's something that I have to do because I feel like we know we pretty much know the Japanese sound effects, but there are other monster roars that are here or abroad that we like. And I want to say, hopefully a couple of people will come on and say, well, what's your favorite ones, not including Godzilla, because let's be honest, Godzilla usually be the top one, but let's see if we can manage to give out 10 that you feel are your top 10. Yeah. Look, if it is, I said go with it. That's the thing. But that's for next month, though. But other than that, that's for right now. All I have coming up on my channel.
Yeah, Jake Horn, I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow for the review of Monarch Legacy of Monster Season 2, and I've got a funny feeling you'll definitely want to be a part of Beasts from 20,000 Fathoms
and Dagora.
Right, and yeah, Dagora. So, Anthony Jordan, what is coming up on your channel?
Well, a review for Godzilla 1985.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, very nice. Nice, because it's part of your Godzilla-thon.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're getting it back up and running. Great. Any horror reviews or other film reviews?
Well, at the end of the month, Ghouls of Midnight will be doing Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Oh, classic. And they're even doing a sequel.
Yeah, that's kind of like why I chose it, because the way it flip-flops and Anubis is like the next one you pick, and I was thinking about it, and I seen a video that, they announced a sequel for it, and I'm like, well, I know what my Ghouls pick is.
Yeah. I found out they were doing a sequel because I've got Robert England on my Instagram, and he announced it like on a behind-the-scenes video, and that's how I found out about it.
He considers this his favorite role.
Oh, nice. Alzilla, is there anything coming to your channel?
Well, I can't say I can't make any promises, but I am working. I do want to get back into making videos again. I do plan to do my thoughts on the Godzilla minus zero teaser but I'm not going to get too into it because, what we got was a small segment.
Yeah.
But I also want to discuss about, Toho's new, Godzilla world that's coming.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
want to,
I'm thinking of doing a video about that myself.
yeah. And I also want to do a MonsterVerse video because I do have a lot of problems with the MonsterVerse, but that's after I finish watching Monarch Season 2.
Well, I hope you enjoy it in the last episode. The last 2 minutes, you'll be like,
Oh,
shit.
yeah. I got spoiled. I got
Oh,
spoiled.
right.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm still gonna watch, the series, and I'll definitely share my thoughts once it's done.
Yeah. Well, Jedi Granville, which I know does have Apple, and he has been. If you manage to watch the season 2 tomorrow, and if you wanted to join me for the review, you're more than welcome to join.
I was gonna say, if it's possible, I can join up. I was gonna say.
Well, just hit me up and let us know if you get through season 2, because there's going to be a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be spoiler heavy. So sorry for those that, haven't seen it, but I am going to put on the front spoiler. So don't watch if you haven't seen the second
Like you
season.
say, that's on them. So yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be in this description below, so you have been warned. But anyway, that is it for the entertainment headquarters. That is it for Kaiju Connections. I'll be seeing you tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you next month for the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. To my amazing guests, I cannot do this without you guys. It's been one hell of a time. I love doing these classic reviews. I love doing these discussions, and you guys make it worthwhile. So thank you for always being there for us and being a part of this journey. So that's it from us. Like my good friend Mr. Jedi Granville always says, I say, keep on enjoying the movies, keep on enjoying all things entertainment. But what he likes to say is, keep the kaiju love alive. And we'll catch us all next time.